Year's Day 2020, and the bells of St Paul's Cathedral were sounding a celebratory 4-hour continuous peal. Offering a silent rye prayer for anyone within earshot still feeling the effects of an enthusiastic New Year's Eve, I, like most others on the steps, had no inkling of what the year ahead would hold. I did know that it would be my last New Year at St Paul's, and was looking ahead with excitement to all that seemed to be ahead. Within weeks, though, the first lockdown came, and, like others, we've all had to adapt. We've begun holding our regular services online, through which it has been a great pleasure to get to know people and to see the community of St Mary come together, some of whom wouldn't have known each other before. The roller coaster of this pandemic has affected us all, and it's been so important to pray for and with one another, sharing in the hope that God gives. Hope during uncertainty is precious. I have a small second-hand book called A Christmas Anthology, which, with its poor grey dust jacket and thin cheap paper, is easily overlooked. The cover carries a black and white print of two weary figures being led by way of forest and field to a nondescript outbuilding illuminated by one hopeful star. Remarkably, this volume was published just ahead of Christmas 1944. The world was still at war with itself. It would be another month before the survivors of Auschwitz would be freed. 5 more months before the war in Europe would come to an end, and 8 months before the guns in Asia and the Pacific would fall silent. The anonymous compiler known only as F.E. Christmas wrote in the preface, "Perhaps friends were never so widely scattered, and for untold millions there will be no kindly gathering at the family hearth this Christmas. Oceans and continents divide them from those they love. Unlovely duties will prove effective barriers to the family circle. Nonetheless, the associations which Christmas time awakens will be as powerfully stirred, perhaps more powerfully than in those easier days when they could find their natural outlet. The final outcome of the struggle now raging will hinge upon many things, but not a little upon whether we can come through it with our feelings unhardened and unresponsive still to the simple and tender graces of home life." Many people have been and are separated from those they love in our present time. Weddings, funerals, sickbeds, and even deathbeds included. People of every faith have observed their most sacred festivals in markedly different ways. Many have sacrificed. Much has been revealed this year. Our connectedness, the deep inequalities in our experience of life and our available resources, our personal and community resilience, our need for hope and more. Revelations by which to steer our future course. With this in mind, and looking to another new year, which we hear will be rung in by Big Ben at midnight on New Year's Eve, I'm taken to Tennyson's poem, Ring Out Wild Bells. As you may know, this is part of a larger work in memoriam, written in response to the death of Arthur Henry Hallam, Tennyson's friend and constant companion. The poem of lamentation is both a year-end acknowledgement of grief and a determined expression of hope, that out of sorrow a new way of being can be born. Ring out wild bells to the wild sky. Ring out the false, the grief, strife, want, civic slander and pride, Tennyson implores, concluding, ring in the valiant man and free, the larger heart, the kindlier hand. Ring out the darkness of the land, ring in the Christ that is to be. As this year ends and a new one gathers its pace, may St Mary's be known as the church which rings in this Christ, and which reaches out the kindlier hand. and may the comfort and joy, peace and hope of Jesus, the child of Christmas, be yours. Amen.